What if I told you that some of the most popular car brands you see on the road today won't even exist just a year from now? Imagine buying a car in 2025, only to realize by 2026 the brand is completely gone, leaving you with a vehicle nobody wants. This isn't some wild conspiracy, it's already happening. Car companies are shutting down faster than ever before, and the reasons might shock you. Massive debt, collapsing sales, and ruthless competition. And the worst part? Many drivers are still buying these doomed cars without having a clue. That's why today, we're breaking down the 15 car brands that are about to disappear before 2026, so you don't get stuck with a worthless piece of metal. Let's start with a shocker, Mitsubishi. Once a respected Japanese giant, today its sales are plummeting worldwide. In North America and Europe, dealerships are shutting down, and the company is quietly pulling out of major markets. The truth is, Mitsubishi never recovered after years of outdated models and poor marketing. Buyers no longer trust the brand, and competitors like Toyota and Honda have crushed its reputation. If you buy a Mitsubishi now, you may find yourself with a car that has no future, no support, and no resale value in just a few months. Another brand on life support is Chrysler. This American icon once symbolized luxury and innovation, but now it's hanging by a thread. In fact, Chrysler currently sells only a couple of models, and their sales are among the weakest in the entire U.S. market. The parent company, Stellantis, has already shifted focus to Jeep and Dodge, leaving Chrysler to fade into irrelevance. Analysts warn that by 2026, Chrysler may vanish completely, turning its cars into relics with no future service or support. Owning one could be a financial trap you'll regret for years. Now let's talk about Fiat. For years, Fiat struggled to win over drivers in North America, and the truth is, it never really succeeded. Poor reliability, weak safety ratings, and quirky designs pushed customers away, and dealerships have been shutting their doors one after another. Even in Europe, where Fiat once had loyal fans, its market share is shrinking rapidly. Competitors like Volkswagen, Hyundai, and Kia are eating up Fiat's territory. Experts believe that by 2026, Fiat could completely retreat from multiple markets, leaving its cars nearly impossible to resell. Another doomed brand is Alfa Romeo. Known for stylish designs and racing heritage, it looks amazing on paper but terrible in real life. The cars suffer from endless mechanical issues, and reliability rankings place them near the very bottom year after year. Sales numbers are so low that many dealerships refuse to stock them anymore. In the US, Alfa Romeo is practically invisible, and even in Europe, the brand is losing ground. By 2026, experts predict Alfa could vanish from entire regions, leaving current owners with expensive problems and worthless vehicles. Let's move to Infiniti, Nissan's luxury division. Once created to compete with Lexus, it has now fallen far behind. The cars feel outdated, lack innovation, and simply don't attract the younger generation. Infiniti sales are collapsing across North America, and new models aren't saving the brand. Nissan itself is under financial pressure, and many insiders believe Infiniti will be the first to be sacrificed. If you're buying one now, you could be holding on to a brand that no longer exists in just a year or two. Now consider Smart, the tiny city car brand owned by Mercedes-Benz. Once seen as futuristic, Smart never gained real popularity outside a few urban areas. Weak safety, poor performance, and a shrinking customer base have pushed it into oblivion. Mercedes already announced major cutbacks, and Smart has pulled out of the US completely. The brand's future hangs on a thread, and by 2026, it could be nothing more than a memory. Owning one now is basically like investing in a product with no tomorrow. Another brand heading toward extinction is Lancia. Once a legendary Italian carmaker with rally dominance, today it's almost dead. In fact, the brand sells only a single outdated model in its home country. Stellantis, its parent company, has no real plans to revive Lancia globally. By 2026, it could vanish entirely, remembered only by enthusiasts of the past. Buying a Lancia today is like buying a ghost, beautiful history, but no future. Let's not forget Lotus. Known for lightweight sports cars, Lotus has always been a niche brand, but now the pressure is crushing it. High prices, limited demand, and increasing competition are forcing Lotus into a corner. Even with new electric projects, the company's survival is doubtful. Experts warn that the shift toward EV giants like Tesla and BYD could wipe out Lotus entirely. By 2026, the brand might not be around, leaving owners with a luxury toy no one wants to maintain. Now, let's speed through the remaining brands before we wrap up. Peugeot is struggling to make a comeback in the US, facing fierce competition at every turn. Opel is losing ground even in Europe, with declining sales and fading recognition. SsangYong, the Korean brand, has faced multiple bankruptcies and barely survives today. Renault is under serious pressure, retreating from key markets and losing customer trust. Genesis, Hyundai's luxury division, barely sells in many countries despite high ambitions. Jaguar, once a symbol of British luxury, now suffers from record-low sales and an uncertain future. These 6 brands are hanging by a thread, and buyers should think twice before investing. And this is just the beginning. From Mitsubishi to Chrysler, from Fiat to Lotus, the automotive world is going through a brutal reset. Brands that once dominated are collapsing, and only the strongest will survive. So before you buy your next car, think twice. Don't get stuck with a brand that may not exist in a year. Stick around, because in our upcoming videos, we'll reveal not just the brands at risk, but also the hidden winners, the cars that will actually hold their value for decades.